Hello guys, and welcome to this live stream here with me, Peter Sweden, and we have Red Pill Phil, our kind of insider man, if you will. Yeah. So by the way, I got this new headphone here, this kind of India tech support headphone. Unfortunately, it hasn't been working as I expected, but hopefully we should be able to do this live stream as planned. Maybe I need to call India tech support to get this working. I don't know.
Why not? I like that. Slip it in. Why not? Get on the jabbing while you can.
Yeah. So let's get right into today's topic then. So there's been some interesting stuff going on. As we all know, Generation Identity have launched their UK division last week. Martin Sellner and Brittany Pettibone have been in London for their first demonstration. They held a banner across Westminster Bridge saying "Defend London, Stop Islamization" was the banner. But there has been some kind of say controversy and strange things going on. Basically, the mainstream media, we have a journalist from ITV that has been going undercover among different right-wingers. So it isn't specifically, from what I understand, it's not specifically Generation Identity, but it has to do with them as well. But there's also other people involved. This mainstream media, well, they've been going undercover with hidden camera, trying to trick some of these people into saying stuff that has been a bit, what shall I say, not too good. So what we have our man here, Red Pill Phil, our inside man. What can you tell us? What's going on?
Oh wow, it's been a crazy couple of days, Peter. Yeah, it does appear that on at least the marches that I've attended, there's been a lady that's gone under the name of Hazel that's attended the marches with, on the face of it, all the right reasons why she should be there. And then it's turned out that she's actually...
So you actually met this undercover journalist?
Yep. Met her and spoke to her. On the face of it, she come across as a nice young girl that seemed concerned.
What did she look like? Maybe I've seen her as well. No?
You have. You probably have. She's been at the Chelsea marches. She's been at the FLA march. And I think she's been involved with UKIP. I think she's gone to Anne-Marie Waters, and most notably the Generation Identity. She went to that as well. So she's been involved and moved around. She's used the friendships of certain people within the organisation to kind of slip in, which on the face of it is actually normal, because normal people, when they're concerned, they go to marches, they meet people, and then it kind of moves on from there.
She's basically infiltrated, pretended to be their friends and so on, being on their side, and infiltrated, and she's had a hidden camera on all the time. To kind of, so I cannot recall ever meeting her, but I've probably seen her then, I guess, since I've been at some of these, covering some of these events. I know that when I was covering the protests in Gothenburg, I actually had undercover leftists going around filming me, taking pictures of me.
Right.
So I kind of feel quite important right now, you know.
So you should, Peter. So you should. You've got the right face for it, mate. That was great. Should just make sure you put on a smile when they do it. I mean, these are the tactics that the left do. I mean, I don't see a way of being underhand to prove the left on how crazy they are. I think their actions do that alone. I don't need to infiltrate. I mean, although it'd be quite important to show the world what the inside corridors are like of these organisations, without a doubt. But that's not my primary kind of concern, to kind of be that underhand. It's all about beating them with ideas, and that's how I thought that we were going to do this fight. But the time and time again, the left are showing that that's how they want to play the game. They're going to be as underhand as they can.
That's what they're doing. The left is very, what shall I say, subversive. They're using very subversive tactics when they are in their dealings. I mean, so if you want to get to just a few specifics here that has been going on, the leader of Generation Identity in the UK is one of the guys that is targeted in this ITV hit piece, from what I understand. And you know him, and I met him as well. And you know, he seems like a nice guy. So apparently they have gotten some, what shall we say, quite not so nice comments on camera, which is not, I mean, that's not the smartest thing. That's really not what you want. So there's been some stuff going on there. Is there anything you want to say on that? Because you know him very well.
I know him very well. Spent a lot of time with him. Come out, as it were. When it comes to marches, I've kind of gone with this fellow. He's a lovely guy. He is a nice guy. This is not a representation of the chap that I know. Although he will agree, and he has agreed. I've had lengthy conversations with him about it. What's going to come out and what he's been caught saying he can't defend. No one can defend it. It'll all come out. I mean, there's no need to go into specifics right here, right now. And there is no one that feels more worse and let down than this person in question. He feels he's let himself down and everyone that is linked to the so-called far-right movement, because they will try to word associate. They're already mentioning certain other names within the far-right group that have nothing to do with this incident. Yeah. So they're going to do the same thing. They're going to try and just associate and tar everyone with that brush on the back of this incident, which is an incident that you can't apologize enough for. It's a mistake. Well, it's a mistake on all proportions, really. It's a really bad error of judgment. I don't think
let me just say quickly to the guys watching, in case you missed it, we're talking about the comments that ITV have basically got under with hidden camera on the guy who was the leader of Generation Identity in the UK, which Red Pill Phil knows very well. So those comments, we won't be saying what they are here, but I guess they will come out on the ITV documentary coming out in a short while, and obviously it's something I definitely would not agree, and you cannot really defend what some of the things he has been saying there. But and Red Pill Phil said it as well. I mean, he messed up, but he's a young guy. I mean, he seems like, from what I've seen, he seems like a nice kid, a nice guy. You know, we all make mistakes. People have made stupid jokes and stupid comments so on before when they've been young as well. It's not something that you should, people genuinely regret if they said something stupid. Should let that go and let people. That's part of how you grow and learn from your mistakes.
It's such a shame, Peter, because this lad, from what I've seen, is a very young, enthusiastic, energetic lad. He's got his beliefs, which are honourable, genuine concerns, which most working class people will resonate with. So the way they're going to castigate him is not a reflection of him as a person. I've got to say that. I've got to say it. I'm not defending what he said and how he said it. There's jokes and there's jokes, but he knows the consequences and he knows the axe is going to fall over this. Now, it's a question of how much damage it's going to do to him and everyone else around when it does actually fall. But you've just got to call it out. It's just an unfortunate thing that's happened. I will say this, on reflection with what this chap has done over the past few months, travelling around, going to various places and going to rallies and whatnot, for him to be seen like this in such a short space of time, this lady has been following this chap for, I think, best part of 6 months. she's got
that long, 6 months.
Yeah, I do believe it was over that period of time.
So they've been infiltrating for a long time. I've known. I'm gonna say this because I've just recently moved to Norway, but I've been in the UK covering lots of these events in the UK as a journalist, and I must say I've kind of got the feeling that there are quite a few infiltrators in the UK operating. I kind of had that feeling now for a while. There are several infiltrators working in the UK. I cannot really pinpoint exactly who those are, but there are infiltrators. I have known that for a while. I just couldn't have pinpointed exactly who it was, but I have seen the effects of it. I know there's several other things going on as well with other people in this in the right in the UK. I know that. There are other people that are in trouble as well with infiltrators. So it's not just this. They've actually been working really hard, and this all comes from this hate not hope, I believe, or hope not hate. They are very much behind all of this. Now, I just want to mention quickly as well some of the other people that are implicated in this ITV Hitjob. Jack Buckby, the guy who works at Rebel Media, and he's very close to Anne-Marie Waters. As we all know, I'm not very good friends with him. He kind of hates me. He was one of the guys, he and Anne-Marie Waters were the ones that started publicly attacking me back when I got doxxed by Hope Not Hate. So I kind of don't really care that much for what happens to him politically. He is implicated as well, I understand. And there's other people I know too that have been implicated saying things that aren't the best. I know of another guy as well. I'm not going to name him, but he's in this. He's been undercover. They've had him with undercover camera too, saying some really, what should I say, not very good stuff. He's actually been saying things that kind of are a little bit violent, which is.
I mean, we've got to say it right.
I'm like, no, why on earth would you say this kind of stupid thing? Yeah. And people, I mean,
the fundamentally big mistakes. I mean, I've been chatting to a few friends regarding this today, and it's to me that whatever your message is, if you want to stand up and protest against radical Islam or even Islam, okay, if you're going to do it, your message has got to be 100% pure and to the point of what you're talking about. The minute you deviate off into what can be misconstrued as generalizing, sweeping into bringing other people that are not necessarily related, but maybe by skin tone, then you've lost. And even if you don't mention that in a public forum, the trouble is, if you have got that within your heart, it's only a matter of time before you get in a conversation with someone that you do feel is like-minded. So you will feel relaxed about coming out with something that's a bit further down the road than what your actual message is. So that's how it can really come back to bite you.
The thing is, what you have to learn when you're dealing with these leftists, they are not nice people. And in a sense, the thing is, people who kind of have one message publicly and then they have another message privately, this is basically kind of what has been happening here. They've been saying one thing publicly and another thing kind of privately, even though they kind of just been joking, and we all know that they really don't mean this, but kind of, if you think about it, the left kind of has a little point here. I mean, saying these stupid things, I mean, this really shouldn't be part of your vocabulary. We have a guy here in the comment section. See, he's asking what the guy said, the identity guy. Well, as we said before, we're not going to say exactly what the comments were, but there were some very, very stupid, very discriminating things. That is,
which you can't defend.
No,
I'm not here. I've met the chap. You've met the chap. I've travelled with him on various occasions. I know and respect the guy. But what he said, you've got to go, whoa, no, dude, you are on your own with this one. and he fully is aware of that, which is the sorry thing. He knows the way it's come across.
When that goes out on TV, I mean, it's going to look extremely bad. That's all I'm going to say about it. There's no defending it. There's no going around it. This thing looks really bad. Now, I myself have kind of had some stupid tweets in the past. That's a bit different, though. That's never been on video. That's just some stupid tweets I have said on Twitter. Many people write stupid things on Twitter, and I mean, and I've also publicly said, yeah, these are not my views at all anymore. I was just I had a period back then when I was questioning certain things, looking into certain things, and those are not my views anymore at all. And yeah, it's you know, people can say stupid things, but there are kind of stupid things, and then there are stupid things, and there, especially when it gets on video like this, and it's big TV. It's the thing is, it all comes down a lot to optics. You know, I've been talking a lot about optics, as you probably have seen. It's really important to have the good optics, and you know, Generation Identity, they have really good optics when it comes to the protests and so on, and also they also have it, you know, privately as well. You know, there's no, for example, on the leaflet, one of the rules they have is there are no racist jokes or stupid jokes allowed, both publicly and privately, not allowed, which is a good thing. I mean, because that's not who we are anyway. We aren't those stuff, so that shouldn't be in our vocabulary. So when you get instances like this, when people actually have been using it, saying these stupid things in private, I mean, on one point, yeah, it's a stupid thing. People shouldn't say that, and you know, and you know, and they might be young, inexperienced, just saying things off the cuff, you know, jokingly. Didn't think so much before they didn't, as we say in Sweden, they didn't put their brain in gear before they spoke.
Yes.
You know, it can kind of be that thing.
I mean, Peter, we are all guilty of that. You know, I remember when Trump, there was over the campaign with the grabbing a certain female, you know, part of the body, and he felt he could, you know, and that was just an off-the-cuff remark there.
And Trump was that was really stupid for Trump, and he apologized.
Some of the comments that are said are the kind of comments that some people do kind of say to one another just off the cuff. They don't necessarily mean the culture behind it.
Not me though, but
no, but you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like a lad talk, all that kind of stuff. Now, I'm not trying to soften the blow for what's happened here.
No,
I can't defend it, and I'm not going to. You know, in many ways, this puts me in such a precarious position.
Because it's kind of interesting, because some of the things, regarding, you know.
You know, I'm not selfish, and I'm not looking at this, oh, well, look how it makes me look. But at the same time, I've come out, and I'm already getting called certain names, you know, because of what I'm doing. I'm not going to say them, because it's probably not relevant. House this. You know, Uncle Tom, the usual kind of terms coming out. And it's comical, and it doesn't bother me because I know I've got truth on my side. But at the same time, it's such a minefield that you've got to be careful that who you align to and what they're about. So I've always tried to be very mindful of that, you know, and to hear these comments, it puts me in the situation now where people are going to think, well, you agree? Are you kind of on his side? Look, calculated now because you know, you're backing these guys, and look, this is how they act. These are the things you say. So it makes my work a hell of a lot more different, you know, and a hell of a lot more harder. I mean, we should be talking about all kinds of funny, jovial stuff now, but we now have to talk about this. And Jord, the chap in question will realise that as well. And I think that other people are going to be mentioned as well.
Yeah, of course. This is not directed just at him and Generation Identity. This is been a undercover hit job against several other right wingers too. As I said, Jack Buckby is involved. Another guy I know is involved too. And I know there's also been other undercover people at other I don't want to mention it at this point, but there is other people, basically some pretty bad stuff that's been going on with some other undercover journalists. It has to do with honeypotting, some other, I don't know if I want to call these people right-wingers, actually. I'm not really sure, because some of the behavior some of these people have been doing, I'm not going to mention any names, but there are people with some really bad behavior in the so-called right in the UK. To be honest, when they allow themselves to get in this particular situation, I'm not talking about Generation Identity, I'm talking about another group. I'm not going to mention any names, but I know what's been going on there, and the kind of the behavior and the situation that these people are allowed to get themselves into really isn't what a real right-wing or a real conservative should allow themselves to get into, basically with honeypotting, with girls and so on. Have you heard about honey trap or honeypot?
No, I don't know that term.
No, that's basically what they accused Trump of doing. They had like these Russian girls, luring Trump in the hotels, kind of stuff.
Right.
It's kind of that kind of thing that's been going on, but there's been a journalist instead that's been doing it to some kind of
it's like entrapment.
Right-wingers in the UK. Now I know that some people have accused Laura Loomer in America of doing that. I'm not talking about that at all. I don't know anything about that, but this is something in the UK. So a journalist in the UK, and they have gone on with it. It's just, so why are these people letting themselves get into this situation? Now, I want to talk a little bit about optics here. We have to have good optics publicly, but you have to have it privately as well. You can't go around saying stupid crap, because number one, that's not who we are. That's not who the right is. That's not the part of being conservative. You don't go around saying this kind of crap, anything racist or anything like. Now, I know we shouldn't be using the word racist. That's just a leftist term, but still, you shouldn't be around saying stupid things about other races. Shouldn't go around saying this kind of stupid crap in private too, because that's not who we are. And number two, also, if there's any infiltrators, they're gonna hear that, and you always have to count on infiltrators, because that's quite hard to stop. When the left is using these subversive tactics to try and trap the right. It's number one, is stupid them to use it to start with, because that's what who we are. Number two, is stupid because you know that the infiltrators might be there, and as I said, I've been at certain events before where I have been, I've been quite certain that I think there actually might be an infiltrator here, so I'm going to keep extra quiet. And not that I would have said anything to start with, anything stupid, but to just be extra vigilant, if you understand what I mean. That's what you always have to do, even in private, because all of this kind of stuff, anything that would kind of give connotations to any Nazi stuff, or any of this 1488, these guys doing any of these guys throwing Nazi salutes or walking out with any Nazi stuff. I'm not saying anything that has happened, but I'm just talking generally about people about people on the right. There are a few basically retards who go around thinking they are Nazis. Not so much in the UK, perhaps, maybe more in America. There was this so-called White Lives Matter rally in America, where they had these Nazis going around with with doing Nazi salutes and so on. And the thing is, those kind of things are not gonna fly. People don't like it. It's stupid. It's terrible optics. Well, number one, it's stupid because it's a bad thing to do. It's bad ideology. Number two, it's stupid because it's bad optics. Number three, it's stupid because it has nothing to do with the right or conservatism at all. I'm just talking generally here, as I said. I'm not saying anything of this has happened. I'm just talking generally about especially in America, where some of this has happened. Though this is not what has happened in the UK specifically, but I was just talking generally. What you have to do is you have to really be good at vetting and making sure you don't get any you don't get any people in that are that could be infiltrators, that could be bad PR, basically. Because if you think of it, optics and PR is incredibly important for the right wing, especially when you have the left always trying to smear us as all this whatever name you, whatever name they want to try and call us, you have to you have to counter it and show that we are actually the guys that are loving. We are actually the ones that want peace. We want freedom. We want liberty. We want we are the loving guys. We are not these hateful, militant, angry guys that marching around with Nazis and so on. No, that's not who the right is. That is not nationalism. No, nationalism is about love. It's about having a homeland for all people. It's about freedom, patriotism, independence, liberty, the things that basically Western civilization is founded on. Yeah, that's my thoughts on that. And is there anything else? I mean, is there anything else that you have an insight in, for anything you would like to say about what has happened here with because they did the protest. I'm not sure what's going on here now with generation identity in the UK, because they just launched, and it seems like now the left is trying to shut them down almost before they kind of get off the ground. What's your take?
Well, to be honest, I don't know too much about generation identity. I know of a couple of members. As for the mandate and what they truly represent, I can't really say. So I'm not really going to go too far on them. However, you do feel that this was probably the ultimate goal, was to demonize generation identity from the word go. You do feel that once they got to that prize, then they've probably recalled her back and, right, we've got enough material now. You know what I mean? So it's like they've sat there, waited for the ultimate. And as soon as they done that stunt on the bridge and they had the material of what this person has said and what other people have said, they've got enough to kind of demonize that organization to stop it flourishing before it's even started. Because I do believe that with that stunt that they've done on Westminster Bridge, that come across in a positive and defiant way. And I think the last thing they would have wanted was for anyone to resonate with the way that was conducted, because optically, that stunt looked good. There was nothing racist about it. There was no, element of, these are people we've got to be feared of. And I know there were certain representatives that were featured on certain shows afterwards regarding this event. That all looked good optically. So the only thing that let it down was these comments that have been said off the cuff. Now, same again. If I ever thought that, I would totally expect the axe to fall. If you ever make them comments in public, then you have got to expect that what comes with it. There is no defending it at all. It's a shame. It's a shame. It's a good lad that it's happened to. He's going to get misconstrued. I've no idea how it's going to affect him. He may have to move away. Who knows how far this is going to go.
I have to agree with you there with the generation identity. They are very good with doing this protest. They have perfect optics. It came across very well, very good stuff. I mean, that's what you saw there on the banner protest that they did there. That's the kind of good optics that we want. Yeah. Then this guy, apparently, then they had this undercover journalist, where this guy said stupid things in private. I had a question here from a guy in the live chat here called, what's his name, Jimmy Reed. He asked on a scale of 1 to 10, how bad were the comments? I don't know, 12?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't return from them. It's hard to put any positive spin on them comments. The chap in question knows it. He knows he's going to fall on the sword for these comments. However,
it's unfortunate. He's a young guy, and he's from what I've seen, I met him, and he seems like a nice guy. Otherwise, and he's going to be. He's going to. I guess he's going to get doxxed. He's going to get roasted. I guess for this because.
The other thing to mention, the hope not hate. They're apparently involved with this documentary as well.
Yes, that's what I wanted to get to. Thanks for reminding me. Do you want to go on?
No, you go, mate. I think you've got more relevance with this beautiful organisation.
If you just want to say what information you have about Hope Not Hate and this Hitjob.
Well, in regards to Hope Not Hate, from what I've seen, I have had the luxury of seeing some of the transcripts, and they've documented well exactly what they're going to say, exactly what he said. They've documented it, organised it into times, places, all that. So it's kind of, you can't argue. They've laid it out as almost like it's in a court of law. Now, what they're saying in this documentary, they're going to pose this documentary as in the far right extreme. They're going to bring in Tommy Robinson into it. They're bringing Anne-Marie Waters into it. And they're also bringing Hope Not Change into it as well. This organisation being
not change. You mean Hope Not Hate?
Sorry, mate. Hope Not Hate. Sorry, yes. Yeah. They're bringing this organisation into it as well as a, let's say, now they're going to be coming out with all kinds of facts and figures to prove of how much hate is being generated in this country. So they're totally going to throw him under the bus, not only with the actual footage, but then they're going to have a biased other view that is going to do everything they can to kind of tar him and make him look as ugly and as awful as possible. Now, what they all seem to forget is that they were talking about people here, people and their lives. There's going to be aftermaths to this, but they don't seem to realise that. But from their point of view, they will probably say the comments he said leaves himself wide open for it. So it's a difficult one.
Well, the thing is, we have Hope Not Hate, Hate Not. I will call them Hate Not Hope onwards, because that's actually who they are. They are full of hate. Yeah. They are actually some of the most hateful people I have ever had a displeasure of encountering, because they have been going after me as well earlier. So yeah, I'll give my take on Hate Not Hope. Yeah, so as Phil said, apparently the Hate Not Hope is involved in this very much. It wouldn't surprise me if they have very much worked with the mainstream media journalists, because as we all know, many of the mainstream media journalists are leftist, far left themselves. They very much like to work with Hate Not Hope. So yeah, I've had my experience with them. Here's actually the thing. Joe Mulhall, the leader of Hate Not Hope, their senior researcher on racism, he's one of the leaders. He's actually said to a journalist in private that he sees us, basically me, Brittany Petitbon, Martin Sellner, right-wingers basically, as, quote, enemy combatants. That's what he said. Yep. So he sees us as enemy combatants. So what did he do to me? Well, he doxed me. He put my address out there, but not only me, also went after my family. My parents put out where they live and so on, and their business and what they've been doing, even though they have nothing to do with me. So not only do they go after the people that they dislike, they go also after their families, which is what's this, like North Korea style. This is what the Soviets did, and it doesn't surprise you, because these people are communists basically. I mean, they are far left people, and they get away with it because the media, they are also far left and they work together. That's why they always get away with it. And the thing is, can I just say quickly, I've never experienced so much hate from anyone before as these guys from Hate Not Hope. The guy who doxed me, he actually works for Hate Not Hope's sister organization Expo in Sweden. They work together. They are basically the same, more or less the same organization. But he wrote the article for Hate Not Hope, doxing me and so on. And you should see him on Twitter. He's like almost constantly writing stuff about me on Twitter, harassing me. And I've never seen so much hate from a guy, especially towards my religion. Actually, he really seems to hate me for me being a Christian. Now, I've been quoting some Bible verses on Twitter before, and he's actually using them, and he's really going after me. I mean, this, you could almost make a case of hate crime towards me as a hate crime towards me as a Christian. I mean, he's really hating me for my Christian religion. I don't know exactly why. He's not Muslim. So he's actually Jewish, I believe. But he has really been going after me for my religion, which is, I mean, I've never seen so much hate from anyone as much as this Hate Not Hope organization. And there was one more thing I was going to add. Just forgot. What was it? Yeah, I mean, when it comes to, I mean, they really are hateful guys, the far left, and these guys are far left. I mean, what do you think, Phil?
These guys are people that profess to be tolerant, but are the most probably intolerant out of anyone. Particularly the way the tactics are. The left, some of their tactics are by all means necessary. The Antifa, you know, their mandates, they will do whatever it takes. Nothing fairly, in a sense. They're quite prepared to use violence. It's been seen over time and time again. They're quite prepared to out anyone, like you say, dox the family, dox the kids. You know, these are all underhand tactics, which does come across more communistic than anything else. So you can see what rule book they're kind of using their tactics from. And it's just unfortunate when the brain dead masses don't see these organizations as being every bit more terroristic than the people that we're concerned about, i.e. radical Islam, i.e. ISIS and whatnot. Some of these tactics are crazy. And they're going to ruin lives, you know, and that's the bottom line.
Well, yeah, that's what they do in communist countries. They go after their families, they try and shut down free speech. I mean, that's basically what these guys are doing. Just a quick side note, there's also another organization called Telmama in the UK, which I believe is a Muslim organization which is partnered with the Crown Prosecution Service to report hate crimes against Muslims, I believe. And they actually got a guy jailed, a radio show host in the UK. They recently got him jailed for saying, he said that quote, Islam was a misogynistic backwards religion from the 14th century. And he actually got jailed 12 weeks for those comments.
12 weeks?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I mean, you literally have people who do real crimes who don't get any jail time, they get less jail time than that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's an important point, Peter. I mean, for what this lad is going to go through over the next 3-4 weeks, you would assume that he's took an Uzi and he's took out 15 school kids outside a nursery, because the sense of feeling that's going to be generated from his own words, he's got to fall on his sword, but it almost equates to a terrorist act within itself, in that the public opinion will not accept this in any way. They will not mitigate, and so they shouldn't. I'm not saying they should, but we have got to put it in context. He's not done any terroristic attack. He's not that way inclined. He's got no mention, no thought of any violence towards any other human being. He's never advocated that. So we've got to keep it on point and rational. But the storm that is going to come is going to come. And there's no way of mitigating that. It's going to come because what he said, the way he said it.
I think one more thing I would like to say on this topic here, one thing that really has me concerned with generation identity and all of this stuff with the undercover stuff going on. One guy I spoke to Well, apparently, the kind of feeling that I get, and what from some people have told me, is that well, basically, there was this article in Independent here where they were trying to smear generation identity after they did the stunt in London, and they have this think tank called what is the name? Either it was IDS or ISD. I can't remember what that stands for. I can't remember what it stands for. It's a big think tank, so-called anti-extremism think tank. I just cannot remember. I cannot remember what it stands for. IDS or ISD. I cannot remember what it stands for. Apologies, guys. But it's a big think tank that actually works with the UK government. They are working with the UK policymakers, lawmakers, to how to make new laws, basically, advising them on how to make new laws. And they really went after generation identity, and they talked about how they need to combat far right people, and so on. And they were even using leaked NATO documents on how to conduct psychological warfare.
Which, Peter, I mean, it's crazy, isn't it? I mean, talk about demonizing. It's like we're all Bond villains here. We're so sinister. It's crazy. But the funny thing is, I actually agree with probably what they want to perceive to people is that they want to eradicate any bigotry and hatred and violence. And you know what? I totally agree with you. I'm totally on board. Now, if you want to come into my house and clean my house of all that, then fine. If you feel there's something there, fine. Now, what you should do is go to the house next door, which is regarded as the left, and do exactly the same and use exactly the same tactics in their house as you're using in my house. And then when we've done that, then I will hold my hands up and say, you are doing a thorough job. You are trying to clean out both houses, which is only going to make it better. But we all know there's only one house that they keep trying to clean out. Now, that house has got its problems, but we know that the other house has got a hell of a lot of problems as well that keep getting a pass. So just keep it fair. That's all I'm saying. I'm not against them doing this, but keep it fair.
I agree. They always go after the kind of right. They never go after the left. That's really sad. I'll get right into that. I just had just another thing I just want to say quickly before that. I found the name of them. It's IDS, which stands for Institute of Development Studies. That's what the think tank is called. And so basically, I'm just going to say this quickly before we go into what you said there, Phil. The thing that has me really concerned is that these guys, because you probably heard of there was this group in the UK that was banned as a so-called terrorist organization. That was actually a Nazi group that was banned. They never did any terrorist attacks, but they kind of said really stupid things, and things like you shouldn't say those things at all. But they never did any attack from what I have seen. But anyway, they got labeled a terrorist organization and banned and so on. And then there's been some other groups that they claim are linked to them as well, which they also banned later on. So the thing that has me really concerned is that they're going to try and say, oh, well, generation identity, they maybe are linked to these guys, we need to ban them too. That's what I'm really concerned with, because I can kind of see this coming with the way it's going. They really want to try and shut generation identity down before they will get off the ground. And even this IDS think tank, they actually said in the Independent article that they claimed that generation identity had links with this banned so-called terrorist group in the UK, which I know is complete bullshit. They don't. It has nothing to do with them at all, but they claim it. And remember, these guys, they are advising the UK policymakers. They are really close with the government. So this is getting really kind of scary. I can kind of see it coming, unfortunately, that these guys might get shut down. It wouldn't surprise me at all with the way that the UK is going, with the tyrannical or totalitarian government that is currently so-called conservatives, but really are far left, you know.
Yeah.
Theresa May, Amber Rudd, they really are far left. You know, they even had this, Theresa May at her conference even had this bracelet with a portrait of a Leon Trotsky's girlfriend, who was a staunch communist and Marxist, which, I mean, insane. Why on earth would she have a portrait of that person on her wrist? I mean, that's insane. That's like having a portrait of Hitler's girlfriend, Eva Braun, on her arm, and she. Why is she getting away with that? It's just, I mean, why? And that leads me on, that leads me on to what you said here before regarding the left always getting away. I agree 100%. The left seem to be able to get away with these kind of, you know. Yeah, maybe the right has some faults. I mean, there's some people say stupid things, okay, but generally, like, majority not. If you look at the majority, it's the left that are really the danger, that are really the problem.
Okay, yeah, because they are quite prepared to shut you down. They don't want you to even have a say. Now that's draconian. Yeah. At least I want to hear what you've got to say. I'm not going to say to you, shut up, I don't want you to, you know.
It's totalitarian, it's authoritarian. And that is the left that is doing that. Everyone on the right wants free speech. Whereas on the left, you really don't have it. Yeah, there might be a few bad apples here and there on the right, but generally the right is, you know, generally the right is pretty good. But if you look at the left, you have quite a few bad apples over there, like quite a lot more. But you never hear that in the media, because the mainstream media, they are in cahoots with the left, with these far left guys. Because many of the journalists, I know this as a journalist myself, kind of insider info, a lot of the journalists are far left themselves. They've been part of Antifa, these communist groups. When they were younger, you know, in Sweden, it's well known. Most of the mainstream media journalists in Sweden are communists. They've been part of Antifa and so on when they were younger. For example, one mainstream media journalist in Sweden, when he was a kid, he was in a literal communist group in the 70s who literally went around beating up people with like iron pipes and so on. And that's been going on in Sweden. And his grandparents actually financed the Bolshevik Revolution too. So, like, literally talking real communists that are actually in control of the media, the mainstream media, and that's why the far left gets away. That's why they never go and try and infiltrate the far left, because I'm pretty sure if you want to infiltrate the far left, you would find quite a lot of bad things to expose there. What do you think, Phil?
I totally agree with you. I totally agree. You can see with what's going on in America, with the Berkeley and the Milos and all the conservative conferences, as soon as there's a whiff of a campus holding a conservative speak, what happens? All the dummies are being thrown out the prams. You know, every window within sight's getting smashed. You've got people with balaclavas up all over the place, dressed in black, running round, you know, whacking people with bike locks, with sticks, spraying them, you know, with all kinds of tear gas and whatnot. Now, for all they want to say about the mistakes of the right, and there are some, I don't see activity like that on a day-to-day kind of basis on counter-protesting marches. I've never seen that. I've seen one or two unsavoury things with words that make you sound a bit like you've probably had maybe too much to drink or not using your brain cells, you know. I've probably seen things where it's been guided towards the police when you shouldn't be doing that, really. What's the point in doing that? You're only making yourself look bad. The police are not going to have your back. And in public, you're not going to gain any popularity with the innocent people that are walking past watching you kind of castigate the police and anyone else. I know you're frustrated because this is a very frustrating issue, but you've got to hold your own if you want to convince people that what you're saying is right, and you want people to believe you. You've got to hold your own there. So it's just crazy. They're like uncontrollable, Peter. I don't think they know when to stop. And
No, the
I
left
think
is no, the left. I mean, some of the left are probably good people, but they are, but the people at the top, the kind of hardcore people, they are really hateful and really quite a danger to democracy, I would say. By the way, I just want to give a big shout out to Luca in the live chat, who has an interesting comment for me. He calls me. He's been using the super chat and donated, so thank you so much for that. Keeping the show running. Thank you so much, guys. He has an interesting commentary. He calls me a kebab fondling Swede. after my food review of the kebab.
Okay. I'm glad he's talking about a food review there, mate. I thought he was being cryptic about something else, so they hold it down, you know what I mean? Get a room, guys, get a room. Kebab talk in my presence, please. Oh. Yeah, so it sounds like it was a good kebab then, mate.
Yeah.
You start a new trend, kebab fondling.
Yeah, I don't think I want to do that, to be honest. I don't know what goes into that meat sometimes.
Yeah, it sounds a bit fetish. Like a little bit of a fetish for me, that, mate, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Where was I? Yes. I can't remember where I was now.
How crazy the left are, I think that's where we was, mate. Just how ridiculous and how violent they are and how unwittingly unremorseful.
Yes, it was this. So it came to light recently, for example, that Jeremy Corbyn, some of his senior advisors, actually have been under surveillance by the MI5 because they've been a threat to democracy. And now they are senior advisors to Jeremy Corbyn, who is leader of the Labour Party, who in the opinion polls looks likely to win. If it was the election now, he would have won the election. He's leading the opinion polls right now. And that kind of goes to my point that the so-called far right aren't a danger at all. They just want freedom of speech. They want freedom. They want, they're patriots. They like the country. They want liberty. But then you have these far left people who actually are a real threat to democracy, who are a threat to free speech, who want to shut it down. Yet you don't have the media going after them at all. They never go any inside with hidden camera with them, but they go on looking for a few bad apples that they could find in the so-called far right.
You know, the best way of describing the little alliance that the media and the lefties have got, it's like they've got the media has got the left, or the left has got the media as a proxy army. And they both work in cahoots to achieve the same goal. I'm not saying they're both totally in line, but in terms of they both got the agenda of they want to annihilate the right. Now, the press might have slightly different agenda as opposed to the left, as it were, but their results probably align, at least what they want. So that's the way I'd phrase them, mate. They're a proxy army. That's all they are. They're like little freaking jihads, that are being trained, armed, go forth. And if they, pardon the phrase, but if the shit hits the fan, we've got your back. By not mentioning your name or, helping in whatever way we can.
The media, they always give the left perfect optics because they are the left themselves. It's always, they are extremely biased, and I think that's the important thing to learn, that you cannot trust the mainstream media because they are so biased. They go looking for a few bad apples on the so-called far right, but they ignore the army of bad apples in the far left. That's so sad. And Yeah, I mean, is there anything else you would like to add, Phil, to this? I think we quite kind of gone through most of.
We kind of
what's
have.
been
It's
happening.
yeah, we've kind of got the fundamentals out, really. No, that's about it, mate. To be totally honest, I feel somewhat disappointed. This Hazel, or whatever her name is. The one last point I will say is that I wonder how satisfied she is knowing that the footage that she's showing that's going to expose people, uh, you know, for one little clip, it'll make someone look a certain way. So you can kind of say it's kind of not representative of that person as such, because it's going to be one clip. Now, she knows the damage and the aftermath it's going to cause. But at the same time, she has spent the best part of 6 months on this side, moving through different people. Now, I don't know whether she's going to feature in this documentary, but does she honestly believe that that footage is a total representation of the movement that he's speaking out against, the Islamification? Because I find it hard for her to say, yes, this footage is indicative of how the right are. They've just caught a certain element of the right with the pants down, and fair play. You know, it's there. It's disappointing. They should have done it, and they're going to pay the consequences without a doubt. And no one can save them. Really, they are on their own. But at the same time, for the amount of trouble it's going to cause, I think these clips have been totally weaponized. As in, she must know that these guys are going to get it big time. When in reality, does she really
Well,
believe that these are evil people?
well, I mean, this guy, the leader of Generation Identity, with the comments that he has said, I mean, he might even risk jail in the UK almost.
Yes.
For all the so-called hate speech. You know, as we all know, the police came to my parents' door at 9:30 at evening for whatever reason, the hate crime unit. So you know, they are quite. The bar for hate speech is so-called hate speech is very low in the UK.
Yeah. Who knows? Who knows? Because this is a comment that's not going to go under the radar. It's going to be put, you know, prime time ITV. They're going to milk it for everything they've got. So there's every chance by the morning that you may get a phone call to come into his local Nick and, you know, let's have a chat. Who knows where it's going to go? It might just all go away. I'm hoping it does for his sake. If it does, there'll be lessons learned. And I think politically, it's probably scared him half to death, which is half the punishment anyway. I think, you know, there's several people I've spoke to regarding this, and people that have been involved in marches, but only mildly. It's enough for them to go, I don't want nothing to do with this anymore. I just kind of want to live my life.
And that's the bad thing. I mean, this is going to scare people away big time from joining Generation in the UK. And Generation
coming out to marches.
Yeah, I mean, Generation Identity, they are a good organization. They're doing very good work in Germany and France and Austria and so on. I actually got a comment here from a guy in the live chat. He asks if I am part of Lene B asks, are you part of Generation Identity? Question to me. No, I'm not part of Generation Identity myself. And there's also another question here as well from, let's see, JT Smith. He asks, will they ban Generation Identity UK? If so, why and how quick? Well, I kind of answered that before. I think there is a chance. It definitely looks to me like that's what they're at least trying to attempt. Very much the Hope Not Hate guys, and probably in work in conjunction with the UK government. That's the feeling I get that this is going very much, unfortunately.
I mean, let us be fair. They're hoping that this incident, when it gets aired, will create the maximum amount of traction for them to be able to do what they want.
You can see the headline, like far right Generation Identity so and so smear word, so and so smear word. All of these usual SJW smear words that they're going to put up in the headline, which they will be able to, which they will be able to use against this guy. You know, far right generation identity, smear word comes to the UK. We need to ban them now. You can basically just see the headline. Even know how stupid it is, because it is stupid. I mean, they never done anything violent ever, and they never said anything stupid either. They just had this guy who said something stupid in private, and he's a new guy as well. He hasn't even been with them. He's just been with them like a day or something.
Yeah, you know, this chap's been active, as in he's followed Anne-Marie Waters, he's followed UKIP, he's gone to various rallies.
Maybe that's the problem, Anne-Marie Waters.
Well, that's another subject. She's not took it too well, to be fair. She's kind of disassociated herself from it all. So it's a shame. Has she been involved in anything? You mentioned Anne-Marie Waters before. Has she been implicated in anything at all in this? I don't think she's been implicated. I think they will try and use her. As I say, I can't really answer that because I don't know what footage you've got in regards to Anne-Marie Waters. I don't think they've got anything on her as such. But whether I
wouldn't think they would, because she hasn't really said anything. Like when I had the
reading the transcripts, what I do know, they are going to mention Anne-Marie Waters, they are going to mention Tommy Robinson, and it's all going to be packaged beautifully as far right extremes.
They're going to smear everyone. They're going to all brush it over. What's it you say in English? You brush it over with
generally sweep. Brush. You know, tar with the same brush.
Everything. Yeah, that's what you said.
So it's weird association. They're very clever at doing that, and they'll do it within one article. They will rope everyone into that one article when maybe 3 or 4 people.
Probably throw in Farage there for good measure too.
Oh, of course, yeah. Oh, of course.
And the word Tommy Robinson is probably going to be thrown in there as well, I guess.
He will. They've actually mentioned him in the transcript.
Well, I know. I guess. Well, I know that Brittany Pettibone and Martin Sadler had a meeting with Tommy Robinson here the last few days. So I guess they are probably going to implicate him as well.
Oh yes. I don't. Let's get it right. He's had nothing to do with this. He's not said anything that can then be brought back to him. This is a totally separate issue, but by association, they will put him, you know, we're all right-wingers, so we're all together. Even if I've never spoke to somebody, all of a sudden, what he stands for is what I stand for. So that's how they're going to pose it, you know. So, you know, this chap knows he's going to have to ride severe storm.
I would almost be surprised if they wouldn't try and throw me in there as well, you know. Since I've been covering the protests, I met Tommy Robinson, I met some of these guys. I haven't had anything to do with Generation Identity in the UK. But I mean, I met some of the guys, I know some of the guys, and I mean, they'd probably like to try and smear me in there as well, if they could, but I guess...
the more the better. The more the better, because they need to scare off people that have got the slightest, remotest idea of wanting to join a movement that is actually trying to gain some traction on the subject instead of what at the moment is nothing else happening. You know, let's just put a B bumper sticker on your car and the world will be a beautiful place. So they just want everyone just to do that and not to worry. So they will. This is all about smearing, as a mass smearing campaign, all from the comments of 1, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 people. But it's not going to stop with them.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. I mean, that's what they did. It's probably going to be reminiscent of the. I don't know if you saw, but the Hope Not Hate had an undercover guy, a Swedish guy actually. Among well, they call it the alt-right. I don't know if you saw that, but they did a massive hit piece there. They were actually at the Traditional Britain conference in the UK, this guy, and then he got involved. This guy was actually this infiltrator from Hope Not Hate was actually the Swedish guy. He was actually a homosexual, I believe, and he kind of got in. One of these kind of alt-right guys called Greg Johnson. He's also homosexual, so he kind of got in that way.
Okay, right.
If you understand what I mean.
Yeah, I think I get it, mate. Yeah. Well, we're talking about kebab fondling here now. Back to the kebab. Come on, let's get it out. Let's get it out. Let's all fondle our kebabs. Sorry, mate.
Kind of reminded me the color of kebab is.
Does it look vaguely familiar? Ouch.
Okay, I actually ate today. It wasn't kebab, but it was actually a hamburger hot dog. It was actually hamburger meat shaped like a hot dog, so it was all brown and like this long hot dog shape. So you kind of reminded me of something.
Oh, I think we've got your new career lined up here, mate. I can just see it. A load of kebabs on a table. That'll fulfill your fetish. Oh, wow. Wow, I love it.
Anyway, he got in the alt-right, and he was infiltrating for a year, I believe. And he kind of got a few damaging things. Actually, to be honest, I mean, the kind of thing that came out from there was kind of quite bad. Probably, I would say, on the same kind of level as what I got out here, to be honest, with this guy that we've been talking about today. I mean, probably on the same kind of level of bad, I would say. What they had there was they had the worst things that I got from the alt-right. There was a guy that was quite close to Richard Spencer called Jason Giorgiani, who said things about that he was envisioning a future where all of the European banknotes would have Hitler and Napoleon on as like figures of heroes, like on the banknotes. Like those kind of things. They got them saying. So they managed to infiltrate them, and now they're infiltrating here. And I'm pretty certain that they are probably trying to infiltrate more as well as we speak, for sure. Because I have known, as I said before, I've known for a while that I have suspected for a while there has been infiltration going on big time, especially in the UK. I have sensed it happening. My gut feeling from things going on. I couldn't just pinpoint out who exactly was doing the infiltration though, but I thought it was happening due to, I could kind of see the effects of it, if you understand what I mean. But I couldn't really find out exactly who it was. I am going to say, I think one infiltrator is Anne-Marie Waters. I'm not going to lie. I think she's an infiltrator from the left to split up UKIP and so on. I'm not going to lie about that. Yeah, I think they have infiltrators in different roles, if I'm going to be completely honest. They have infiltrators that are kind of undercover, and I have infiltrators that are more open. Yeah, that's just my point of opinion there. And the reason why I think Anne-Marie Waters might be an infiltrator is because what the left likes to do is they want to divide and conquer. They've actually Hope Not Hate has openly said that they want to kind of divide and split up the right. You know, they want to tear them up from the inside. They have actually said that openly. And Anne-Marie Waters, well, first off, she publicly attacked me, which was kind of a divide and conquer thing, really. I mean, it's trying to tear up the right from within, public attacking me that way. And then she's also been kind of doing the same with UKIP too. So that really raises my suspicions on her.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I don't have an opinion on Anne-Marie. I don't know her that well. I know you've had a little spat with her and whatnot. As for that, I don't know whether she could be there to do that. I know she's talking the talk in a sense. She is demonised just as much as probably Tommy Robinson in political parties. So she would have to be a hell of a turncoat if that's how she's, setting out a platform. But, mate, there's going to be a lot more twists and turns in this. I mean, I do agree with you in a sense that I do feel that there is.
Because I think
infiltrations.
Yeah, go on.
No, I was just going to say, I don't know. I can't put my finger on who it is because I don't know all the players in this game. I am, in a way, semi-naive. I've got a degree of intelligence, so I can work out who's what and this, that, and the other. I'm not on the politics scene. I never have been. So there's a lot of names that pop up and people mention like I should know who they are, and I haven't got a clue who they are. I'm just coming at this argument and debate just from a working classman's perspective. Not one who's well endowed on politics, but is well informed and kind of a certain age where they can kind of balance things out somewhat. So I don't know. It's hard to say who's the infiltrator, who's the not.
Yeah, no, as I said, I cannot say for certain either. It's quite hard to find out until they actually reveal themselves, and that's why I always had to be vigilant on that.
You've just got to be pure. Otherwise, it doesn't matter who you've got infiltrating, because if you're not pure and you're coming out with silly remarks,
if you're pure, you have nothing to worry about anyway.
This is it. That has got to be the main
don't
thing.
Matter.
Yeah, you can have Hazel come and live with me for 6 months. I've got no problem about that, as long as you don't mind fondling kebabs, I guess. I think my wife might have something to say about that, but it's just. If you're honourable and true, we all say things off the cuff and we all say things, maybe I shouldn't. So, I'm not going to say that was that in this case because it's probably too extreme to say that. It's a more this than just simply saying it was a mistake. Because that won't cut it for the majority of people when they actually hear what's been said and how it has been said.
Yeah. You can say stupid things that you really don't think and then just regret instantly. I mean, but you really don't know what has been going on in his mind.
No, food for thought, and there's going to be lessons learned from it. And it's a case of learning them lessons. Every time something like this happens, you've got to use it for your advantage.
Make sure
I was at the Justice for Chelsea march a few weeks ago, and I managed to kind of spot there was a certain remark that was made by one of the speakers which give it a connotation that was steering the problem more towards race rather than the ideology. So I mentioned
who was that?
It was a John Banks. Making good points, but he just made reference to the London black population in London as opposed to the crime stats of London. Now, one, we're in Sunderland. Two, Chelsea got supposedly gang raped by 5 Middle Eastern, supposedly 2 Turkish, 3 Syrian refugees. Nothing to do with the black population. So what you're talking about the black population for? Now, if you wanted to attract...
I'm going to say that's a thing I think is completely stupid in the right... some of these people that are so-called right-wing, some of them don't like black people that much. Not most of them not, but there are a few bad apples. I think they're so stupid because they miss the bigger picture. Black people are not the problem. It's the globalist elite that are the problem. They are the ones that they should worry about, not black people. That's just so stupid.
Yeah, but if your message is not clear and honourable, it will show. Even if you try and suppress it, it will only take one conversation stood at a urinal next to someone you thought you could trust, and it'll blow it out the water. And next thing you know, you've got a headline that's all over the news, all over the TV, smearing you as something, when in reality it was just an off-the-cuff comment. But at the same time, you've got to bear the consequences of them words. So You've just got to be clean and be on point with what you're talking about. And then when people see that, they will jump on board because they can't argue with you.
Yeah.
If they see that, you know.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think maybe that's a good point to finish on. What do you think, Phil?
I'm good with that, mate. I think we've gone over it, haven't we, enough? And hopefully people have, you know, just brace yourselves. If there's a last comment, just brace yourselves for what's going to come.
Things coming. And yeah, excellent. So thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Make sure to go and subscribe to Red Pill Phil's YouTube channel. He's been covering some. Now that I've left the UK, I won't be coming back to the UK anytime soon because, well, if you have seen my videos, you'll know why.
Too busy kebab fondling pizza, that's what it is. You need to pack it in, mate. Sorry, I couldn't help it. Such a cheap shot.
Well, yeah, Phil is now the guy that's going to be on the ground in the UK covering these kind of events. He's been filming. So I won't be reporting and covering any of the events in the UK anymore. So Phil will be going to lots of the protests now. He's already been uploading some of his YouTube channel. So go and make sure to subscribe to him on his YouTube channel. If you search Red Pill Phil on the in YouTube, you'll find him. I'll try and put in a link as well, so you can find him. So make sure to subscribe to him. He's been doing some good work. And
cheers, mate.
And also make sure to hit a thumbs up on this video. We have 110 viewers at the moment, and if you hit thumbs up, that's going to be good for YouTube ratings. So make sure to hit a thumbs up. If you're watching this live stream later on as well, leave a comment below what you think about this. And if you haven't subscribed to me, make sure to subscribe to me as well. And also share this video with all your friends on social media and so on to get basically what we're doing here is we are scooping the mainstream media before they get out of the stories. So make sure to share this with all your friends on social media. We have the inside info, so we are scooping the mainstream media, and they are sleeping on the job. We are beating them once again on their own arena, if you will.
Well, can I just say there's a saying, Peter, that is they say a lie can get halfway around the world before the truth can get his pants on. You know, so I mean, what they were trying to do, they were trying to, you know, get that lie around, and hopefully this show, even though we can't cover anything, but at least it can cover whatever we can cover in a fair and honest way. We are covering this in a fair way, unlike the mainstream media, who's going to be completely unfair and biased. We cover this fairly. You know, obviously what he said is stupid and can't be defended, but we are covering this fairly as well. You know, putting out the other side of the story. So make sure to share this with all your friends, guys, and thank you so much for watching, and we will see you. I will actually be uploading a vlog later on as well, so stay tuned for that. But I'll see you guys later, and I'll show we will have Phil again on later as well. So thank you, guys. Cheers, guys.